Hello, in this video we'll discuss all the different components that make up a laptop, otherwise also known as a client. Before we go into the laptop, we'll briefly discuss the power supply. The power supply is responsible with providing electricity to the laptop, server or storage device. When we uncover the laptop, we see a lot of components. All the components are connected to the motherboard. Connected to the motherboard, we'll find a hard drive, RAM sticks, and a cooling system made out of a heatsink with two fans. The CPU and GPU are underneath the heatsink. The reason herefore is because when the CPU and GPU are doing calculations, they get really warm, and to prevent the system from overheating, we need a cooling system. So the CPU, or central processing unit, is responsible for running the system. This could be Windows, Linux, or whichever operating system the customer has chosen. And this will also be responsible for running, for example, your mail, your accounting software, and any other application. The CPU can be considered the brain of the system. Most people will be more familiar with a CPU that looks like this. This one came out of a server. In a laptop, it looks a little smaller, but the concept remains the same. Next to the CPU, we have the GPU, the Graphical Processing Unit. Most people will know the GPU as a graphics card that looks like this. This is used for gaming, but also for calculating a lot of complicated models, for example, for machine learning and AI. And a graphics card is really good at doing calculations over and over again. A system can run without the graphics card, but it cannot run without the CPU. So the data that the CPU and GPU create, they have to be stored somewhere. To store this data, it usually firstly goes to the RAM. And in this device, the RAM stick looks like this. And we also have a second one right next to it. RAM is super fast, so it's a really convenient way of storing data. It's also reliable, but the only downside with RAM is the capacity. This RAM stick is only 4 GB, this one is 8 GB. So we cannot store a lot of data on them, but they're super fast, so they're good for doing calculations and getting results almost instantly. When we want to store the data long term though, we have to put it on a hard drive. This could be a spinning disk hard drive, an SSD, or another device. RAM is considered volatile, meaning that when the electricity goes down, all the data on the RAM gets wiped as well. A hard drive or an SSD, on the other hand, is non-volatile. So if the electricity goes out, we will still be able to access this data later. Not only is there a difference in volatility, there's also a huge difference in performance and price. This hard drive is, for example, 500 GB, and this RAM is only 8 GB, but the price is nearly the same. That's why we don't store all of our data on RAM, but use a combination of super fast RAM for calculations, and then something cheaper and slower to store data long term. In the next chapter, we'll go into all the different types of hard drives, for example, SSDs, NVMEs, and other ones. Thank you.